Today I'm in Beirut in Lebanon, and I'm interviewing Asatur, the General Secretary of the Baptist Union of Armenia. And we're talking together about the conflict that is happening in Nagorno-Karabakh, a region of disputed land that is disputed between Armenians and Azerbaijanis, a conflict that goes back to the early days of Soviet times, where these lands were divided in unusual ways. Asatur, welcome to Lebanon. You've come from Armenia at a really difficult time. Tell us a little bit about what's been happening in the history of Nagorno-Karabakh.
Hello, Alan. It's good to be again together. It's a privilege to see your face, actually. Yeah, it's one of the oldest conflicts in the former Soviet Union. Actually, it was the first national uprising, for the freedom. We called it first wave of perestroika, that Armenians believe that, really Gorbachev is bringing, freedom and justice. So in 1988 of February, Armenians started believing that perestroika means something. But that time and even now, the conflict is still going on. It took a lot of lives. Historically, that land, as we called Artsakh, was given to Azerbaijan. So many ways it went up and down. So unfortunately, now the conflict is still going on. And Armenians who are dominating and living in the area for decades, thousands of years, now moving towards Armenia just saves their lives.
Yeah, so right now we have a mass migration of Armenian ethnic people who live in the Nagorno-Karabakh region, who are now leaving because of persecution, threat, and risk of life to them from the Azerbaijani army?
Yes, because as you see in the news, and it's visible, everybody can see it and read about it, Azerbaijani army started somehow attack to the population. And we already have records that civilians, even children, were killed by the army. And a lot of Armenians began to flee from the region. And 120,000 Armenians now just walking, some of them. There's 50 miles of the line by cars to move. And even we have, as you know, Baptist churches in the area. We have properties there.
Yeah.
People are living, and unfortunately, this is a painful part. That we're losing, the Baptist, witness in the area.
The last time we saw a movement of people like that, it was people leaving Ukraine into Poland, Romania, Hungary, Slovakia, Moldova. Now we're seeing it into Armenia. Are the two conflicts connected in any way, the Ukraine-Russia conflict and what we are seeing in Armenia at the moment?
The only similar thing is that we are all from the former Soviet Union.
Yeah.
Conflict had and still have, in Ukraine and in Nagorno-Karabakh, two different roots. The only thing that it's connected with our past.
Yeah.
Because the Soviet system made this mass, national mass, so this is why this uprisings of freedom giving this. But if we're talking about this refugee coming, see, in Ukrainian context, all the European countries welcome them. But for these people, the only place to go is Armenia.
Yeah.
Just imagine a country with 3 million welcoming 120,000, where we're not rich country like Poland or any of European Union countries.
Yeah.
So this is why for us, as country, as a nation, it's a heavy weight what no one knows how we can hold it. So this is why we ask you to pray. And as you see these people coming, and we as a Baptist, we are trying to be in a center to help. And like our brothers and sisters, we already having, because we have a church there, almost 200 members we had, and with the families, plus families. So it's doubling, the size of people who are coming to us, to Baptist, as a Baptist to
Yes.
Baptist, saying, can we have a place to stay?
Yes.
So this is why we are before this big challenge.
Yeah.
And we are praising God that we are not alone. In a Baptist family, we have hope that our brothers and sisters worldwide will pray and take a step
Yeah.
and be with us. I think it's very important that we as a Baptist family can support each other.
And I assume most of them are coming to the capital, to Yerevan. So
They are.
So what is the church already doing to respond to this in Yerevan?
We already somehow had a meeting with our brothers. First of all, phone calls, because it was unexpectedly happened. We discussed churches, now we're putting a lot of beds in our buildings to welcome people. So we will see. It's because no one planned it, no one expected it. So this is why we ask all of you to pray that Lord also will give us wisdom and provide the necessary needs to face this very serious for Armenian modern history, because if you go back to the time when Armenian genocide took place, people will say it was 100 and more years ago, but this is why we, as Armenians, having this fear that it's happening again now.
Yeah.
And again, we are alone at this conflict. This is why we're asking our brothers and sisters to pray and take a step of being with us and being with our nation.
Genocide is not a word we use lightly, and there have been many historical genocides. But right now you really believe that what is happening is Armenian background people are being forced out of their homeland.
Yeah, of course, it's ethnic cleansing. It's clear, it's ethnic cleansing, You can find different words on it, but it's a first step to the genocide.
Yeah.
When you are taking people from their home and telling them march out from here,
Yeah.
killing civilians, they know any other word to find.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is why, I am not telling, the word is important. I'm trying to explain the situation, what we as a nation facing.
Yeah. So my last question is, how would you have us pray this evening for what is happening right now in Armenia and Nagorno-Karabakh?
Please pray for the peace first of all, because Armenians, we are a peaceful nation.
Yeah.
And our geographical location, it's a crossroad, and I think we are called as a nation to bring peace to the nation. So this is why we ask our brothers and sisters to pray for the peace. This is number one. So secondly, pray for the refugees. Some of them lost already their loved ones. And many children couldn't find their parents. The numbers are growing of children. Pray for these families especially. And of course pray for us in Armenia, as we are somehow having challenge, welcoming of these people, that the love of Christ will be visible in us. And again, coming to my first, pray again for the peace, because we really would like peace in the region. And we believe that only by God's protection, it can be happening.
Thank you, Asatur. And we will be praying for you, for the Baptist family in Yerevan, for the Baptist family in Nagorno-Karabakh as they travel and make their way to Yerevan, and for peace in the region. Thank you.
Thank you, Olive. Thank you.